What if the greatest villain in Marvel history was hiding in plain sight all along, shaping victories, defeats, and destinies without ever showing his mask? What if every portal, every time jump, every shattered timeline whispered his name? Tonight, we unravel the evidence that Doctor Doom was never coming. He was always here, and the multiverse has been screaming truth. In Avengers Endgame, when Tony Stark solved time travel in a dimly lit workshop with jittery holograms and frantic equations, most fans saw a genius improvising against impossible odds. But comic readers felt something colder beneath the triumph, because that solution already belonged to someone else long before the snap ever happened, and it carried a signature older than heroes. That moment when Tony Stark drops the holographic Mobius strip and realizes time will fold into itself like a loop wasn't just cinematic brilliance, it was a conceptual fingerprint. In Marvel Comics, Doom's earliest attempts at time manipulation used the exact same quantum folding logic, trading mysticism for raw cosmic mathematics long perfected in secret laboratories buried beneath conquered borders. By the time Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness introduced the Illuminati platform in Universe 838, the visual language became impossible to ignore. Circular energy gates, controlled quantum surges, and human-scale teleportation geometry mirrored Doom's original schematics almost panel for panel, as if the film was quietly daring comic fans to finally say his name out loud now officially. When Reed Richards steps onto that glowing platform with casual scientific confidence, producer Richie Palmer later confirmed what many suspected, that its design was directly inspired by Doom's earliest time device. That confirmation wasn't fan service, it was a breadcrumb deliberately placed for those tracking the multiverse's hidden architect, an unseen monarch of timelines ruling with intellect instead of crowns. Then comes the Time Variance Authority, a bureaucracy that literally arrests timelines. Their doors sparkle with the same controlled quantum flare, their collars suppress variance with the same energy logic, and their pruning sticks erase existence using the same principles first seen in Doom's forbidden research. The suggestion is terrifyingly simple: the TVA runs on his stolen genius alone now. When Kang's multiversal engine ignites in Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, the blue-white quantum core pulses with the same unstable rhythm seen in every Doom-based device across comic history. In the source material, Kang didn't invent time travel, he optimized Doom's work, weaponized it, and scaled it across infinity, a thief of futures standing on the shoulders of a king. According to whispered cosmic genealogy, he who remains didn't build the TVA from scratch, he inherited it from the wreckage of stolen wars. After Kang learned from Doom's blueprints, and after one variant rose above the others, that ultimate survivor used the same quantum inheritance to chain the timeline and crown himself its quiet jailer of endless recycled destinies forever. At the edge of time in Loki Season 1 Episode 6, the Citadel looks nothing like a neutral fortress. Its green spectral fog, its gothic spires, and its looming emptiness mirror the ancient strongholds of Latveria from the comics. Even the statues inside do not resemble a scientist, they resemble a sovereign, silent sentinels bowing to a throne that remembers. And then there is the throne itself. When Loki takes his spectral seat at the end of time, the imagery eerily echoes the God Emperor's perch from Secret Wars. Long tendrils of cosmic structure stretch like dead branches, framing a ruler frozen between divinity and damnation, waiting for the true monarch to return, a crown-shaped vacancy etched directly into architecture. The final tableau in Loki Season 2 finale transforms the timeline into a living tree of infinity. Yet the posture, the burdened stillness, and the silent coronation all resemble the comic moment when Doom briefly held all realities in his grasp. It feels less like replacement and more like preservation of a destined seat, as if history itself refused to. The wasteland known as the Void is presented as a graveyard of broken timelines, but in the comics, Doom once built a kingdom from the scraps of dead universes. Battleworld rose from collision and conquest. The MCU version swaps continents for variants, but the governing philosophy remains identical: rule what remains when everything else is destroyed by superior will alone. The strangest real-world placement appears in the opening of Moon Knight, when Stephen Grant awakens near a looming European castle above a quiet village. The architecture echoes classic Latvian designs with unsettling accuracy. It isn't highlighted, it isn't explained, and that silence is exactly what makes it feel deliberately planted, background storytelling at boldest, hiding a monarch in plain daylight. Even more unsettling, the ice cream truck beside him carries a small, almost mocking label that reads Von D. It flashes by in seconds, invisible to casual viewers, yet unmistakable to anyone who knows the name behind the mask. It's the kind of visual whisper Marvel uses when it wants a secret to survive rewatches and infect late-night theories. In Loki Season 2 Episode 4, Mobius casually recounts a file about an 8-year-old variant near the Black Sea, destined to cause 5,000 deaths. The line passes quickly, buried in procedural chatter, yet its geographic and numerical precision feels too sharp to be a throwaway detail in a universe built on foreshadowing, like a prophecy-hidden footnote of destiny. In the comics, Doom's homeland of Latveria sits within narrative reach of the Black Sea, and his defining childhood trauma strikes when he is the same age as the TVA file's unnamed boy. The symmetry is surgical. Marvel doesn't echo numbers and locations this precisely unless they are laying track for something monumental, a destiny engineered before the audience even. When you align these details like constellations, the narrative begins to reveal negative space shaped like one missing silhouette. Every stolen invention, every conquered timeline, every borrowed throne implies an absent originator. Doom's absence becomes his loudest presence. The MCU isn't hinting that he might arrive, it's quietly admitting he has already won somewhere else long before heroes could react. The Multiversal Saga has trained audiences to look for conquerors who arrive with armies and explosions, but Doom's true power has always been patience. He lets his enemies build the roads of victory for him, then simply claims the destination. Every time the heroes celebrate a technological miracle, the shadow behind the achievement grows longer and colder with each victory. Even the moral architecture of the TVA aligns with Doom's old doctrine of authoritarian order. Chaos must be trimmed. Free will must be managed. Countless lives may be erased for the stability of the many. These aren't the ethics of heroes or explorers. They are the iron philosophies of a ruler who believes suffering is acceptable if the equation. What makes the theory truly disturbing is that it reframes every victory since the blip. If Doom's tech underpins time travel, then the Avengers didn't just save half the universe, they validated his vision. They proved his mathematics correct, his risk worth taking, and his cold calculus reliable on a cosmic scale. The heroes may have saved reality using the Multiverse Saga has been obsessed with inheritance, legacies passed like weapons from hand to hand. Wanda inherits chaos. Loki inherits a throne. Kang inherits stolen time. Seen through this lens, Doom becomes the original sin of the era, the primordial architect whose ideas are powerful enough to outlive even his physical presence across collapsing universes and rewritten destinies endlessly. Even the visual language of green energy, once associated with sorcery or radiation, now circles back as Doom's signature color of dominion. From unstable portal flares to containment fields and time-pruning discharges, the shade repeats like a heraldic banner. It's as if the MCU is painting the battlefield in Doom's colors long before he steps onto it in silence. The horror of it all is not that Doom might conquer the multiverse one day, but that the multiverse might already be conquered by his ghosts. His blueprints power engines. His ethics govern institutions. His throne awaits an owner it already remembers. The MCU has turned absence into dominion, and that is a narrative trick reserved only for the most. Think about how rarely the MCU shows true creators of technology without eventually revealing a darker origin. Pym particles, super soldier serum, even vibranium all carry legacy burdens. Time travel arriving fully formed should have been the biggest red flag of all. Nothing that powerful is ever born pure in this universe. It is always inherited from someone willing to. By hiding Doom in reflections rather than reveals, Marvel protects the impact of his inevitable arrival. When he finally steps into the light, audiences won't be meeting a stranger. They will be recognizing a long-absent author of their favorite catastrophes. His debut won't feel like an introduction. It will feel like a confession from the universe itself whispered through time. Every hidden clue functions like a footprint in cosmic dust. Individually, they can be dismissed, but together they form a trail no coincidence can explain. Technology, thrones, names, and numbers all converge toward the same invisible apex. The Multiverse Saga stops looking random the moment you assume someone has been. The brilliance of this setup is that it rewards attention without punishing ignorance. Casual viewers enjoy spectacle. Dedicated fans uncover architecture. And theorists find a grand design encoded in background props and throwaway lines. Doom becomes a story written in negative space, a villain shaped by what the camera refuses. This reading also reframes heroism itself. If Doom's logic underlies salvation, then victory becomes morally compromised from its first equation. The Avengers may fight for life, but they do so using tools forged by a mind that sees life as an expendable variable. The price of survival may already be. There is also poetic symmetry in the idea that the multiverse's greatest tyrant helped save it without anyone knowing. Doom has always believed he alone understands what reality truly needs. Allowing heroes to enact his design only validates that self-image. The universe survives, and his ideology survives with it, unthanked. Marvel's long-game storytelling thrives on patience measured in decades. What seems like an Easter egg today often becomes the cornerstone of tomorrow's saga. By threading Doom through technology, architecture, and offhand dialogue, the studio ensures his arrival will not feel sudden, but inevitable, like gravity finally acknowledged after years of. The deeper you dig, the clearer it becomes that this isn't a theory built on isolated trivia, but on structural consistency. The same narrative DNA keeps resurfacing across phases and platforms. When patterns persist across years and genres, they stop being accidents. They become declarations written in code, waiting for. And if Doom truly stands as the hidden linchpin of the Multiverse Saga, then his eventual emergence will not be a simple villain reveal. It will be a retroactive transformation of everything we thought we understood. Every triumph will gain a darker echo. Every sacrifice will feel subtly manipulated. The saga will fold inward on itself. What makes Doom endure is not raw power alone, but narrative gravity. Stories bend toward him because he represents control over chaos, will over chance, intellect over entropy. By embedding him into the fabric of time itself, Marvel ensures that his confrontation with the heroes will not just be a fight, but a philosophical collision written across. Even now, the MCU continues adding layers to the puzzle. Every new project introduces more temporal mechanics, more dimensional politics, more questions about who truly governs existence. With each layer, the scaffolding for Doom's worldview grows taller and more detailed. The saga doesn't ask if a supreme ruler will appear. Doom does not rush because time itself has been trained to wait for him. Variants rise and fall. Dynasties bloom and burn. Heroes are born, die, and are reborn through reboots and resurrections. Through all of it, his ideas persist unchanged, patient as stone beneath flowing water, shaping the current. This is why the Doom theory refuses to fade. It doesn't rely on one shocking clue, but on the slow accumulation of many subtle ones. It mirrors Doom's own methodical nature, advancing not through spectacle but through inevitability. The longer it goes unconfirmed, the stronger it becomes, because delay has always been part of his. When the moment finally comes and Doom steps fully into the frame, the shock won't come from surprise, but from recognition. Viewers will look back and realize they have been watching his handiwork for years without knowing it. The multiverse will not feel newly threatened. It will feel newly understood. And that realization will recontextualize every choice, every sacrifice, every miracle that bent time backward and forward. Doom will no longer be the future threat on the horizon. He will be the silent author behind the storm, the intelligence that wrote the rules everyone else has been struggling to survive. The hidden Doom narrative also restores a sense of mythic scale to the MCU. It reminds us that beneath the quips, battles, and surface-level drama lies a grand chessboard of power, will, and consequence. Doom doesn't just want to win a war. He wants to redefine what winning even means. By scattering his influence across science, magic, and governance, the MCU elevates Doom beyond a single genre of villainy. He is not just a tyrant, not just a sorcerer, not just a genius. He is the synthesis of every form of control the universe recognizes. And when that synthesis finally consolidates, at that point, the Multiverse Saga will reveal its true shape. What once looked like chaos will resolve into order. What once felt like improvisation will be exposed as design. And what once seemed like scattered villains will stand revealed as echoes of a single originating will that never needed. The most powerful villains aren't the ones who break the world with explosions. They are the ones who convince the world to build itself according to their ideas. Doom thrives in systems, not just in battlefields. If the MCU truly runs on his principles already, then his eventual physical arrival, This is why the theory resonates so deeply with longtime fans. It respects the intelligence of the audience and the ambition of the narrative. It weaves disparate stories into a single tapestry of intention. Doom becomes not a late addition, but the hidden cornerstone, the villain who didn't need an origin. Whether Marvel ultimately confirms every thread or reshapes the plan, the groundwork is undeniable. These clues have transformed Doom from a future rumor into a present force felt through echoes. He has become the negative space that gives meaning to what fills the frame. And that is the mark of. So as the multiverse continues to fracture and reform before our eyes, remember that every miracle carries a designer's fingerprint. Doom may not wear his armor yet within the MCU, but his shadow already stretches across it. For more hidden theories, secret clues, and deep breakdowns, subscribe to FilmVerse Hollywood.